Hi guys, thanks for checking back in. Welcome to episode 2 of Try 5 with Dan. Now I know last time I checked in and showed you my collection out in the two garages. I said spring had sprung. Well, it has, but now it's back in the 40s and rainy, so I really haven't had a chance to get out and do a whole lot of work on these, but I didn't want to leave you too long without some new content, so I thought I would come out and show you a little upgrade I did on my 55. I started doing this last fall and just recently made a different upgrade to it. So if you look here, it's the front of my 55. Recently I removed that emblem and replaced it with that emblem. Now you might be thinking, what's the deal? That emblem looks pretty nice. And it does. It's like brand new. But in a second here, I will show you what is different. Now, I'm not a purist by any means. I like the original stuff. I like the original engines. I like how the dual quad stuff like that looked. But most of my cars all have, upgraded small blocks or stuff like that in them. But I really like the details of these old Tri-5s. And when this upgrade came out, I ordered one right away because I thought it was cool. So I'm just going to set the camera down real quick here, and I'm going to show you what the upgrade is. Here we go, guys. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Hoping you can see this on camera. But I just thought that was cool. The light up hood emblem for a 55, so it's probably not legal to have on while you're driving down the road, but for a car show or a cruise in or something like that at night, I just thought it'd be cool to turn it on at dusk. So they give you a replacement switch, or not a replacement, but a new switch to put in the dash, and what they give you is this. And for me, that's not going to cut it. It's boring. I hate toggle switches just randomly stuck under the dash. I think it makes it look cluttered and boring. So one of my other hobbies is 3D printing, so I figured I could come up with something a little bit cooler. So now I think we're going to go in the house, and I am going to show you what I've been working on. I have it close enough to pretty much put the whole switch together, but I think you'll think this is pretty cool. So let's go in there now and we'll check it out. Okay, we are now in the hobby room in the house. This is where I do all the 3D printing and projects and stuff with the kids, stuff like that. But this is the 3D printer that I have been using to print this accessory switch, is what I call it. I don't know about you guys, but I've always really liked the factory accessories. I've got a factory emergency brake warning light. I've got a factory remote mirror, Wonder Bar, that was an accessory. Actually, all the radios were accessories. Cigarette lighters were accessories. They had a book every year that showed you all the different accessories you could get: the compass, the electronic eye. And in the 50s, at least 55 and 56, Pontiac actually had an accessory hood ornament for their cars that lit up, and I always kind of wish that Chevy had done that. So when I saw that somebody had made this hood emblem that lighted up, I thought, wow, that'd be kind of cool if GM had actually done that. But like I said earlier, I didn't really like that boring toggle switch. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to design something that looked like it would have been a factory accessory. So I designed a pod that goes under the dash, and I designed a bezel, I guess you'd call it, that looks just like the bezels for like the ignition switch, the wipers, the lighter, all that stuff. So I designed one so it would blend in with that, and to do that I used a program called Tinkercad. So it's an open source CAD program online, And I'm going to kind of zoom in here. Here's the bezel. You can see that. So what I decided to do is I made the bezel, and what I was originally going to do is that's the front faceplate off of a 55 or 56, instrument cluster. And that was always one of the coolest parts, I thought, was the high beam indicator, was the actual Chevy bow tie. So I thought it'd be cool to incorporate that into this. So I designed that so when you turn the front emblem on, that bow tie will light up just like the high beam indicator on the dash. So I tell you what, let's print one of those really quick on that. I'll show you how this works. Alright, so here's the bezel I printed. So what I ended up doing was I took an original backing plate from one of the original bezels and cut a hole in it. And you probably can't really see it there, but what I ended up doing is on the back side, I took a bit of the original film, I guess you would call it, from one of the original oil indicator and generator indicator lights, so that it would match the color of the dash high beam indicator, and I glued that to the back. So in a second here I'll hold up my light from my camera behind it. Hopefully we can see it glowing. But what I also did was, here is the switch housing, I guess you would call it, that I designed on Tinkercad, the same thing. And what that's going to do, it's going to house the switch, and if you see in there, there's a little hole and a little recession right there that this LED will go in to light that up when I turn the switch on. So I'm going to set this tripod up now, and we're going to assemble this thing so you guys can see what it looks like all put together. Okay, here's all the pieces that we have for this thing. So this should go together pretty easily. So what I did is I just bought a standard on-off 12-volt push-pull switch that's going to replicate like the headlight switch, so it's going to be the same style. So this would go in here, and see, there's plenty of room for wires. This is where your LED goes. I just developed a little hole there so there'd be no light bleed. Your bezel, the emblem goes in just like that. You got your nut. Just kind of hand tighten that. Okay, and then I designed the cup to go on the back. Little hole for the wires to stick through. Yeah, it snaps on nice and tight. Alright, now the other part, what I ended up doing here is I wanted to use a factory style 55 Chevy knob so it matches the rest of the knobs on the dash. So what this is it is a windshield wiper control knob. Now these, I don't know if you can tell in there, but it's actually got a hexagonal shaft that this slides over with a set screw. Well, obviously the switch has a threaded shaft on it, so I designed this and also 3D printed it. It's just a hexagonal adapter to threaded shaft, Just kind of slides right in place. Fits real nice. This should thread right on here. And the tension of it should hold it in place. Plus I have the set screw. I can always set that too, just so I can make sure it doesn't come off. Alright, there we go. Off on. So when this is on, the bow tie will light up. So to me, I think that looks a lot cooler than that. Now a lot of guys might think make it look cluttered, but I think it looks like a factory accessory. So let's go out and we'll stick it under the dash and we'll see what it looks like with the rest of the stuff. Alright, so we're out in the car, so I'm thinking the best place to put this is probably going to be down here. So if you can kind of, I have to make a bracket for it yet, but I think I'm going to mount it right about there. And you can see how it actually matches the rest of the bezels on the dash. It's a little bit different, but I mean, still the same basic design. I kind of use the same lettering, you know, same spacing on all the letters. I think it'll look pretty good. I haven't decided yet. Like, I don't think you can see my tack there. I used an old piece of dash trim that matches the bow ties, so I might put something like that behind it yet. I'm not sure. It also could go right there between the rest of my gauges and that. I still have to put the rest of the bow tie trim on those gauges, but we'll see. But there's, like I say, it's an aftermarket Wonder Bar. I want to get it. I'm not really crazy about that one. I might get the other one. There's an accessory. There's an accessory. There's an accessory. So you can tell I love my accessories. Alright guys, I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I'm hoping the weather is going to get a little bit better here pretty soon so I can get out and get some actual in-depth videos done on, you know, a lot of the body work, panel changing. I'm going to put floors in the trunk in that convertible. I'm going to fix a floor pan on that 56 four-door. I am going to finish the quarter panels on this hardtop sitting behind me. The 56 window delivery, I am going to be putting the engine and trans in that, rebuilding a rear end for it, putting the fuel injected tank in because that's going to be a fuel injected car. So I have lots of projects that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be making how-to videos. Another thing I'm going to add to this video is I am going to be putting up basically parts identification. Now it might be an common knowledge to a lot of you guys out there, but there's a lot of differences between parts on these, like the knobs, the trim, the heaters, stuff like that. But that's the stuff I always found interesting, is the differences in all that, side trims. So I'm gonna go through and kind of help you guys identify parts that, for some of you guys that might be just starting out, or a lot of you younger guys that are wanting to learn more about it. I'm gonna show you what parts go to what models, what years, and go from there. So I just really appreciate all the likes, all the subscriptions. It's been crazy. I can't believe I've gotten so many views on the first video I've put up for these. But if you enjoy these, I hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.